The practice of Kriya Yoga involves a series of specific techniques designed to harmonize the body, mind, and soul. Central to this practice is pranayam, or breath control, which helps to purify the energy channels and awaken the kundalini, the dormant spiritual energy called at the base of the spine. As practitioners delve deeper into the practice of Kriya Yoga, they embark on a profound spiritual journey towards self-realization and union with the divine. Through consistent practice and dedication, one can experience higher states of consciousness and a deeper connection to the source of all existence. Kriya Yoga is an ancient practice. We don't know the exact age of Kriya Yoga. Historically, some ancient texts say it originates from the Narayana, then to Krishna. Krishna teaches Arjuna. Then Patanjali, Mahavatar Babaji. Babaji teaches Lahiri Mahasaya. Through Lahiri Mahasaya, it came to exist in the current era. Currently, we praise the master of Kriya Yoga as Mahavatar Babaji. He revived Kriya Yoga for the modern world. Babaji was known as an immortal yogi who was deathless and attained the highest level of consciousness. He can easily recreate his subtle body instantly at any age. He appeared to many of his disciples with his physical body, but not only to his selected disciples. People who practice Kriya Yoga daily with great devotion. Kriya Yoga can only be learned through a selected Kriya master, Kriya Yogi. Do not practice Kriya Yoga with the instructions from textbooks or online media. Find a proper Kriya master and buy Diksha from him. He will give you the proper guidance. If you reach Kriya Yoga at a certain level, Babaji will definitely appear to you. While doing Kriya practice, we use the Pranayam method. Transfer of life current through the Sushumna. It was called Sushumna Pranayam. It was the brain of Kriya Yoga. If we reach a certain level of Kriya practice, we can do this pranayam and need to complete it 186,000 times. A person who reaches this number can see Babaji. Lahiri Mahasaya has written this as one of his personal texts.
I can remain asleep several nights, and by opening the eyes and recharging the body, I can keep awake several days. Now I will go into the state of superconscious bliss by lifting my eyes, higher inner relaxation, and controlling my heartbeat.
Even though I've talked many times about him.Mahavata and so on, so it's a good idea to discuss what are him.Mahavata, because you start with him.Mahavata and then go to the rest of the Angas. And the serious problem about many practitioners is that without looking at him.Mahavata, they start going into pranayam, samadhi, this, that. It doesn't work that way. Even if it works, it doesn't work for a long time. And not only long time, it can work in a wrong way also. So therefore, yama-niyamas are the base. So what are yama-niyamas? Rules and regulations. Basically, see, if you want to study any subject, there are some rules and regulations. In the same way, like you want to do a chemical experiment, there are some rules and what are the rules? Wear gloves. Wear masks, not talking about COVID, even for a lab. Make sure that everything is hygienic, wash your hands before coming in. It's not done because there is some deity sitting there, because that is the rule and regulation with which you can do chemical experiment without yourself getting affected by what is happening, right? In the same way. For the practice of yoga, yama and niyamas are very, very important. Sadhana pada, is the second section of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali after Samadhi Pada. So in Samadhi they give a graph, kind of rough graph on where we are heading, what we are looking for and so on. Then you say, but for looking for that you need to keep your mind, your chitta free of vrittis, and for that you need to practice these things which are the yama niyama asana pranayama. So it becomes sadhana pada, what you have to practice to get there. Without knowing all this, if I do asanas and if I do pranayama, I want to go into samadhi, even the samadhi or a trance state which you go in could be an illusion. Because the mind cannot go into the pure trance state required to understand the Purusha without purifying itself. And without purifying itself, the vrittis cannot be handled. Yama niyama asana pranayama pratyahara dharana dhyana samadhayo stava angani. These are the limbs, the branches of yoga. So you can say yama roughly as restraint, control, and niyama as observances. What you should observances means not observe with your eyes. Practices to be followed. One is restraint, the other is practice to be followed. So here are the first set of. So please, before you go into this, remember all that I said. Before we go into this, I also want to say something else. Basically, yama niyama, if anybody wants to practice yoga, you cannot strictly 100% practice the yamas and niyamas and then hope to start the practice. It's not going to work because we are all beginners, right? You have perfect yama niyama practice when you have reached there. Till then, your yama niyamas are likely to be slightly not perfect, but we have to start somewhere and start practicing. So the key rule to be followed is beautifully given by Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, when he says that this yoga is not for him who eats too little or eats too much, or one who sleeps too much or sleeps too little. Now these are metaphors to show that a practitioner of yoga is not one who goes and does tapasya for 100 years without eating. It's not possible, you will die in 3 days. A practitioner of yoga is one who eats nutritious food, eats just enough for the body and not extra, so neither too much, and he is not one who starves. A starving man is not a yogi. Maybe after he becomes a great yogi in samadhi, he may be able to spend time without eating. That's a different story. But when you begin to practice yoga, you need to eat properly, eat good food, eat in control, don't eat too much and make blah and walk around, and don't starve and say that I am practicing yoga.